All right, good to welcome everybody.
Not all at once. We'll be back,
Okay. Chevra story. I warned you guys. Okay. So there was once a couple who came to the Ba'al Shem Tov and they didn't have children. They tried everything they could do. They tried to, to have certain doctors, experts, and they, did all these different schools to have children, and they didn't have children. They come to the Ba'al Shem Tov, and he really can see their pain, and he closes his eyes, as a holy man does, and tries to figure out what he can do. And he opens his eyes. He says, "I can't help you. You guys are not destined to have children." And the wife starts to cry, and the husband is also, very much in pain. And all of a sudden, the woman cries out and says, "No, I refuse." Why? He says, "I know that when a tzaddik decrees, even Hashem has to listen to what he says. And therefore, if you give me a bracha to have a child, I know you can give me a child." And she was really, really crying in agony. And the Ba'al Shem Tov hears it, and he broke his heart. And he goes back on what he said, and he says, "Okay, in a year's time, you'll have a child." And the couple is overjoyed. They thank Ba'al Shem Tov, and lo and behold, a year later, they have a baby boy. And he was the joy of their life. He had, sparkling eyes, beautiful smile, a happy baby. And at a year, he was already walking and talking. And he even started learning at a very early age. And they had, they were planning different things, where they would take him for a cheder, and so on. But on the second birthday, it's fine, it's really good. Thank you. On his second birthday, he passed away. He just didn't wake up. The baby passed away. And they come back to the Ba'al Shem Tov after the funeral and after sitting Shiva, and they came to tell him what happened, and, almost as if like, what's going on, And the Ba'al Shem Tov had an explanation for them right away. He said, "The baby that you had was a very, very special neshama, very special soul. It came down to rectify something. He had made a very, very big sacrifice for the Jewish people. And it came down here for a specific purpose, and you helped it fulfill that purpose." What's the story? Ba'al Shem Tov starts telling him the story, and he says like this. There was once a king who wanted to have an heir. He wanted to have someone who he could pass on his throne to, and he didn't have children for many years. One of his advisors seemed to be he had a lot of emunah. He said, "It's because the Jews aren't praying hard enough for your well-being." He said, how are you going to make them pray? You're going to press them, give them a hard time, make terrible decrees on them, and they're going to call out to their God. Somehow this guy was a Russia and also had a lot of faith in Yidden's davening. Anyway, so
no
he...
atheist in a foxhole.
Ah, very good. So that's what the king did. The king said if within 3 months the queen does not become pregnant with a child, he's going to expel the Jews. And it happened to be that all the surrounding countries, there was no possibility of settlement for Jews. So they really had nowhere to go. So they started to, daven, and they called fast days, and they really cried from the bottom of their hearts for Hashem to save them. And in the heavens, there was basically a question of, would there be a Jewish soul who would be willing to go down and be born to non-Jewish parents? And there was one soul, a very, very lofty neshama, who said he will do the sacrifice in order to help the Yidden of this particular country. And so the queen becomes pregnant with a child, and the king started to shower the Yidden with gifts, and he was so, he was so grateful to the Jewish community. Anyway, so this baby was very gifted from the beginning. You could tell he was very gifted.
And it was a Jewish soul.
It was a Jewish soul.
Going to this time.
Yeah. As you in general with gerim, right? They say that really a ger is someone who already had a neshama. A ger and his gar. It doesn't say Goyish in Isgair. It says Gerish in Isgair, meaning that people who convert, it's already because they have a neshama pre-existing.
There's something there, you're saying.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
But anyway, so this baby was growing up, and very very quickly they saw he was very advanced, and he quickly ran out of teachers to teach him.
The king's baby.
Yeah, from a young age. And they had to bring a priest from far away, someone who was renowned to be an extreme genius, brought him especially for this child. And they would learn every day, and there was something about this priest that you looked at him and you already knew this person had, immense knowledge and anyway, so this kid would learn with him, and he was the only one who actually could match this child's curiosity and everything. He would teach the child every single day. But he had something, a condition that he made with the king. Well, it was a condition for him to be able to, he said, I'm only going to come and teach the child on condition that I have 2 hours to myself where nobody can come into my room, not even the king himself.
The child asked for this, or the priest?
No, the priest. So this child was curious. He said, I have to figure out what's going on over here. So he hides in the room, and he sees that the priest comes in, locks all the doors, and he searches the room thoroughly. Somehow he missed the hiding place of the boy, and he takes out a strange, rectangular shawl with strings, and he wraps himself in it.
Take back everything I said.
I was waiting for that. And then he takes out these black boxes and he puts it on his arm and he puts it on his head, and he starts to cry, and he starts to sway, and he starts to say these words, and he starts to sing, and this child's looking, and he's astounded. His breathing, whatever it was, he made some subtle noise. All of a sudden, this priest, who's not really a priest, realizes it. He searches all around him. He finds the boy, and he realizes he's caught. And he asks the boy, "Please don't tell anybody what you saw over here." So the prince says, "You have to tell me. You have to teach me this." He says, "I knew that you were holding something back from me. I knew that there was something beyond everything you're teaching me, and now I know that you've been hiding. So you have to tell me." He says, "No, He was telling you, it's going to be dangerous for both me and you." He said, "Well, if you don't tell me, I'm going to let everybody know what you did." And so this guy, this hidden Jew, had no choice but to start teaching this boy Yiddishkeit. And so they start learning every single day, secretly, about Yiddishkeit, about everything. And this kid is drinking it up. He can't get enough. And the boy grows old enough until he announces to his teacher, "I want to become a Jew." So now he's faced with, what is he going to do? So they come up with a plan. And they say they want to go to Rome, right, to where it all goes down, the center of, right, and they want to go there to further their studies. Meanwhile, they go somewhere else. And they convert and assume a different identity, and he never comes back to the palace. And eventually he became a very, renowned rabbi, a very, he converts, he becomes a very big tzaddik, and eventually he passes away. The boy, yeah. Eventually he passes away. Now what happened? So now he comes up to Shemayim, and he basically did everything he had to do in this world. But his first few years on this earth was done in impurity, and there was something missing. There had to be a takana, there had to be a rectification for that. And he had to come down to parents for just that little amount of time, for those 2 years. And the Ba'al Shem Tov said that when you cried out from the bottom of your heart, and I saw that you really wanted a child, why? Because of the mitzvah, because you wanted to bring another soul to this world, I knew that you were going to have the job of bringing this child into the world and to helping him fix this little problem that needed fixing. So this is the amazing story of Ba'al Shem Tov and this tzaddik, this neshama.
This is also a replay.
What do you mean it's a replay?
This is a replay.
What do you mean it's a replay?
This was featured in one of our first ever Malamakas.
I never said this story.
Yes, huh?
I did not.
Yes,
I did.
I will put money on it.
And if so,
I did.
the
No,
lesson.
no,
You
no,
did?
It's a good replay.
The
It's a
lesson-
good replay.
You said a story? But
Many.
oh, but not here.
No, no, no.
Right.
Not like,
And
ah,
and everyone's
Hanan
right.
said it. Okay, I never
It's
said
yes,
it.
it's one of
money.
No, he was right too. He was right and he was right.
What are they?
It's one
Said I'll put money.
There's no complaints.
He said it's a replay for me.
I mean,
You
you
said I
replays.
never
He
said
didn't
it.
say-
Reruns.
he didn't
The
say
lesson
it.
needs to
Yet
be
you
repeated
still.
again and again.
Okay. Anyway, a good tavach, maybe see miracles in our own lives. Thank you everybody for joining.
It's pretty standard stuff.
Not with the child. Not with the child. By himself.
Essentially, they were
Hey, Mendy, you never disappoint for the bloopers. You always featured at the end of the video. Yeah, you're always featured. At the end.
Am I wrong about the priest?
and the middle. And
Oh, come
the
on,
Okay.
Malcolm.
Okay, he was by. He was.
Dark.
play, however, because there's so many interruptions.
No, these are bloopers, Cody. You've missed.
Bloopers. Yeah, we have
Oh,
bloopers.
these are, you're gonna booperize
There's
them?
going to be bloopers.
Mendy's the start of the
Stop the
bloopers.
live.
This is the culprit, by the way, everybody.
You do have to start
Wait, he
over
needs to do the
because
subscribe
Thank you,
and his
everybody.
mother.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, his
correct.
mother and
I
the
forgot
subscribe thing,
to
yes.
thank my fans and the academy, and most of all, the specialist of them all is my mother,
Okay.
and my manager, and my producer,
like and subscribe.
and Vadi.
Like and
Vadi,
subscribe.
without Vadi, there would be no Vadi, and so therefore.
Like and subscribe. And,
And yeah, links in the
The comments.
comments. Smash that like button.
In the bio, in the
Come
bio.
back to us every week.
Subscribe.
Link in the description.
Chaim.
Don't
Chaim.
forget to subscribe.
Chaim.
Shabbat tov.
Yo, turn off these shenanigans, bro.
Never.
People live for
Where's
this.
your